is a piece of work.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio and presented by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, the Pizza Ranch, Shelter Insurance, the Bank of Billings, and Central Bank. And pleased to be joined now by a first time appearing on the Missouri Sports Network, St. Francis Borgia Knights head baseball coach, Bob Struckhoff. Coach Struckhoff, thanks so much for your time.
No problem.
Coach, you're 23-5 on the season. Tell us a little bit about the season that you guys have had after a 14-10 record a year ago.
Yeah, we've had a pretty successful season. We 14-10. We were rather young last year. We started a bunch of sophomores and a freshman last year, so we knew we should have some experience coming back and some talent. This year we only have two seniors. Tanner McPherson is our starting third baseman, and Caden Collins are starting left fielder. But those are only two seniors, so we're pretty much junior heavy. So a couple sophomores and freshmen getting some time too. So, but we've had a great season, 23 wins, ties the school record, which we set back in 2019 when we were Class 4 Missouri State champs. So we've been, we've played pretty good defense, pretty good pitching, pretty good offense. Just played pretty good ball most of the year. Been pretty consistent, which has really helped.
Coach, compare this 2023 team to that 2019 team that won the state championship.
Actually, a lot different. in 2019, we could stroke it. I mean, we set the school record with home runs. I think we had four guys hit over 5 home runs that year. A couple guys. We had the St. Louis Player of the Year in Joe Schmidt. We had couple guys that were juniors on that team. Bryce Mayer pitched state championship game for us. He's at Missouri now. Brandon Stallman was on that team as a junior. He plays third base at UNC Charlotte. Jack Shasheen, Louis Elko Camp, Spencer Hunter. We could hit up and down. Adam Mallard, up and down the lineup. We had guys. So we through that team, and our scores were we put some runs up, and then at the end our pitching came alive at the end. We threw a no-hitter in the semifinals and a one-hitter in the championship, but it wasn't like that on the run. We just really swung it well that year. This year we swing it pretty well, but we don't have that kind of pop. We don't even have double-digit home runs as a team this year, but we put the ball in play. Up and down the lineup, we got guys that are just good, solid hitters. But our pitching has been our strength this year. We've got some solid guys to get 23 wins and to only lose 5 games. A solid pitch that shows a solid pitching staff, I think, and that's more of our game this year. That solid pitching and defense and getting the runs when we can. We're not going to power through everybody, but we can, we have to, as a coaching staff, we changed our personnel, and that's what we had to do this year. The kids have done a good job.
Coach, for the listeners, kind of fill them in, or fill us in, me included. What's your league like? What league do you play in? Where did you finish in that league? And about some of the opponents that you play. I see a lot of Washington games on the schedule, but tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, our schedule. We play in the AAA conference, which is the St. Louis Archdiocesan Athletic Association. So it's at St. Dominic, and Father Tolton's actually in Columbia, and St. Mary's and Lutheran St. Charles are some of the teams in our division of that, and we finished second in that division to St. Dominic, who we split with this year. But we kind of play a lot of the St. Louis area schools and Franklin County schools, Pacific and Union and Washington. We play those teams. We go out to mid-Missouri and play Blair Oaks and Southern Boone and Helias. And we saw Kearney this year at Southern Boone. So we see a lot of those teams. We also go down the city. We played Lutheran South and Webster Groves also. So it's kind of all over the kind of mid Missouri, East Central Missouri areas where most of our games are.
Yeah, you've won 9 in a row, and as I look at your record, your last loss was to Washington, who you played apparently on back-to-back days. But then you got them back in the district championship. Tell us about those 3 matchups.
That's just 3 great matchups. Washington, obviously, we're in Washington, so this is it's a crosstown rivalry. So what we do with them, we play on a Friday night and then a Saturday at noon. Is how we do a doubleheader. As a home and home with them over a weekend. So it's a good time, and we we beat them on a Friday night 2-1, and then lost to them 5-1 on that Saturday. So we had a split there, and then in the district tournament, they were the number 1 seed, and we were the 3 seed, and we both made it through to the championship game, which was at their place. So it was just a outstanding atmosphere out there. They have a new ballpark, real nice ballpark they built, and it was there was estimates of over well over 1,000 people at the game. They have a hillside where people all watching the game from the hills and the streets, and it was something else. And there was a great game. We were down 2-1 going in the top of the 7th, and we were able to get our offense going. We put 6 runs on them in the top of the 7th to get a 7-2 win. But it was a lot different than you think 7-2. It wasn't a 7-2 game. Like I said, we were down 2-1 going in the 7th, so we had to grind out a big inning there. But it was just an outstanding atmosphere and a great comeback for our guys.
Yeah, we were talking with Glendale head coach Jim Julian earlier in the show, and he mentioned the hill out there at your ballpark, and talked about there's probably Glendale folks on their way down now to probably put their lawn chairs up there.
Yeah, we've got a hill. Yeah, the game was at Washington High, so they got a hill too. So we got a hill on our side. So we got hills. Our field kind of sits in a hole. So we got a hill in right field, kind of a street, and then the whole left side up to the football field's all big hillside. So it's a nice. We got a lot of good vantage points. To put to put your blankets down or put the lawn chairs down. There's a lot of good spots there, so it should be fun.
Coach, and I know Glendale's coming into this matchup 25-5. What do you know about the Falcons coming down?
Well, I know they're good. I mean, they were good last year. They were always good. Coach Julian's got an outstanding program going there. I mean, and they've got some good tradition there. I watched some of their stuff on YouTube, and they got some good size. They got some good pop with their lineup. I mean, they definitely look the part. You watch them play, and listening to what other coaches say about them. So they're definitely been ranked number 1 in the state for a reason. They got a good thing going on there, and we definitely respect what they bring to the table.
Well, they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder, it being number 1 in the state all season, and they get the 3 seed in their district.
Yeah, I saw that. It was kind of interesting how that all works out. Those you never know how those seeding is going to work. But that sometimes it plays to your advantage having that little chip.
Again, visiting with St. Francis Borgia Knights head baseball coach Bob Struckhoff. And Coach, just a little bit about your background. Where'd you go to high school and college, and how long have you been at St. Francis?
Well, I'm actually a Borgia graduate in 1991. So I went from Borgia. I played Legion ball in Washington. I played baseball at East Central College in Union for a year, and then I finished off and played 3 years at Central Methodist College. I played with some guys you might know from down there, Randy Merriman and Chris Drayle. So I was teammates with them at Central Methodist. I then went back to actually coached a year at Washington High before I took a teaching job back at Borgia. And then I've been at Borgia for 27 years now. I've been coaching base. This is my 26th year as a high school baseball coach. My 24th year as the head coach of the program. So just kind of been back home for a while here. This is my first job. It's been a good ride.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, it's always good to visit with coaches. Been a lot of time. Typically, it's the baseball coaches that outlast everybody. And I don't know if that's a result of nobody knows how to coach baseball, so you don't have a bunch of parents on you, or if it's a result of the baseball season hasn't really even started when they make those decisions. So there's not anybody mad at you at the board meetings. But baseball coaches always seem to last a little bit longer, and we greatly appreciate you spending your time. And I understand Glendale I visited with Coach Julian, and he was actually on the bus on his way up, and they were going to get to practice, I guess, at your facility today, or maybe Washington. I don't know, but they were being allowed to maybe get a practice.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet them at our place this afternoon. They're gonna come out and get a practice on our field. So and it'll be good to just to meet Coach, and I've met Coach Julian before, but good to see him again and let them get a feel for our field a little bit.
You bet. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate coaches being generous with their time, especially on short notice. I just left you a message probably an hour ago, and got back to me, and I really appreciate that. And best of luck. And if you get an opportunity to get to the Final Four, we'll run into you, get to visit face to face.
I appreciate it, and thank you for the opportunity.
You bet. You bet. Coach Bob Struckhoff from St. Francis Borgia, and we'll be back after these messages.